All right.
So hello everyone, good morning. A warm welcome to the webinar by Indian Lawyers Association. My name is Madhura and I work with this wonderful organization, which is a pan-India network of all legal professionals. And we have been providing opportunities to lawyers to come together, network, discuss issues, work on how to solve problems that the legal fraternity is facing at some point. We have about 70 odd chapters in India, and all our chapters work independently. They add a lot of local flavor to how ILA operates. They're free to undertake any initiative which they feel will work at their city, their district, their state level. So while I coordinate with the live things, I'll just hand it over to Navneet Chug, who is the moderator today. He is managing partner of the Chug LLP, and ILA is his brainchild. So, sir, over to you for some more introduction on ILA.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Madhura. Thank you for doing a great job with ILA for the last 2+ years. ILA is in good hands with you. We've made a lot of progress. Lots of work ahead, but it'll take time. And it's good to be involved in a task that we know will not be done in our lifetime on this planet. And as Robert Frost said, miles to go before we sleep. We have a goal to be in 400 cities. There are 400 cities in the country with a population of over 1 lakh. So we want to be in all of them. And we're making slow and steady progress. We're a little late, but in starting ILA, but at least we're there and things are going very well. Every year we have an annual conference. We had one in December last year in Mumbai. This year it will be in Bangalore. We're looking for a spot and we'll have at least 100 speakers. So we hope to see all of you in Bangalore. So we have wonderful 6-7 panelists on our panel today. And the topic is a wonderful one: how to run a law firm and how to start one, how to grow one. And we will talk about finance and IT and sales and HR and marketing and knowledge management and partnerships. And we will talk about, are we ready and is our house strong enough that we're letting foreign law firms in? Hope whoever is letting them in knows what they're doing, because these big foreign law firms out there are fortunately or unfortunately quite strong and have a lot of money and have a lot of wealth and a lot of history and a lot of people. And once you open the door, they come in and pretty much do what they want. And the other problem is that the British left India 75 years ago, but to a lot of extent, the Indian lawyers in India are still in prison, handcuffed from every which way possible. So my hope and wish was that we at least first free the Indian lawyers before we let the foreign lawyers come in. But that's fine. I guess they're coming in. And so we have to get stronger, get bigger, get smarter, and also make sure we get freed so we operate at a full level. The fact that we can't advertise, we can't do contingency matters, we can't set up a booth at a conference, all this are handcuffs on us. And we can't be competing against these foreign law firms with handcuffs. And the handcuffs should have been removed for 50 years first, and then the foreign law firms allowed to be coming into the country. But that was the editorial at the start of the conference. And hopefully I riled up a few of you, and hopefully all of you disagree with every sentence I said. So I look forward to listening to your point of view. And that's the good thing about being a lawyer, right? And it's all a debate. We're not saying what we're saying is right. There's all kinds of points of view. And our job as lawyers to push our point of view, and then hopefully there's a consensus in the community. Okay, so let's hear from each one of you. If you can give a brief introduction to your life from the day you were born till this morning, what you've been up to. Trust me, it doesn't take that long. So go for it. In alphabetical order by last name. It's going to take 10 minutes to figure out who that person is. Okay, never mind. Whoever wants to start first.
So, Navneet, do you want to pick the names or how do you want to do it?
Sure, you go ahead. Whoever opens their mouth gets the priority.
All right. Okay, so I'll take it up first. Hi, everyone. This is Samba here, Samba Ranka. So I'm a partner in a law firm called IC Universal Legal. So personally based out of Mumbai. And I head the transactional practice. So everything from corporate to securities practice, where we have everything within private equity, venture capital, M&A, joint ventures, cross-border funds, debt practice, everything involved from a securities point of view as well. Whether it falls within the permit of SEBI as a regulator or RBI as a regulator, pretty much do everything in there. And as a firm, we are pretty much a full service. All India combined, we would be a strength of about 160 lawyers with about 34 partners all India. And as a background, as Navneet requested about my personal background. So I hail from a family of lawyers, with my father being a retired High Court judge, my grandfather being a senior advocate, and my elder brother also in the profession. I hail from Jaipur, but been in London for my master's, followed by a stint there. Then I moved back to India. In Mumbai, started my sort of practice with Nishit Desai Associates. I was with them for about 7-8 years, and then moved into the current firm, IC Universal Legal, where I've been now 8+ years. So almost getting to 8 or beyond. So that's in sum and substance about me, and looking forward to the panel here. Thank you.
Wonderful. Akshat?
So I'll go next. Yeah. So hi, I'm Akshat Pandey. I'm a partner with Fox Bundle LLP, which is a firm headquartered in Kolkata, having an office in Delhi, as well as an associate office in Dubai. We are a full service law firm, and historically we are just about 126 years old, so not too old. We as a firm, we do pretty much everything: litigation, arbitration. I head the corporate and transactional practice of the firm. Pretty similar to what Samba does: transactions, M&A, private equity, venture capital, cross-border transactions, and corporate advisory in general. I hail from Uttar Pradesh. I was born in Varanasi, studied in Kanpur and Lucknow. Did my CS first, then became a lawyer. Then went for my postgrad in UK, where actually we made friends, me and Samba. And ever since, I've been in law firms in UK and then in India. So that's a short description.
Thank you, Akshat, and thank you also for being the first ILA president of Noida.
Oh, thank you so much.
And the most important and the most wonderful designation in the planet is that of a past president. It's a title nobody can ever take away from you. You can't be fired, and you're respected, and you can do whatever you want, and nobody can say anything. But it comes with a tiny responsibility to have such a wonderful title that is lifelong. And you get tremendous respect for the next 50 years. The tiny responsibility is that you can't let that chapter die. Okay. So for the rest of your life, you have to ensure that there's a new president and the new president is doing what they're supposed to be doing, and stay a little involved as the godfather. So that applies to Sumesh. you were president of Delhi, and Samba, you president of Mumbai, and Dr. Methi, you president of Jaipur, right? Yeah, not past president yet, but okay. Pinak? Where is
Hi,
Pinak? Yeah, there we go.
hi. Good morning, Mr. Chug and everyone on the panel. So first of all, I would thank ILA for inviting me. So as I can see, I think I am the youngest and my law firm is also the youngest participant here. So thank you for giving me this opportunity. Uh, I would first like to say a few things about myself. So I started my practice in criminal law at Calcutta High Court. I mainly deal with criminal litigations and then constitutional law. Apart from that, I'm also involved in medical legal cases, real estate, and a bit of consumer disputes. So how my firm was incorporated, it has had a very short journey of about, it was incorporated in the pandemic in 2020, when we were all jobless sitting in our house thinking as to what other ways we can take the career of law ahead and do something for my associates and juniors who were working with me and also under me. So that is how DMG happened just immediately after the pandemic, and it was conceptualized. And then I think we have been going on, and probably we have reached where we are within a very short span of 2.5 years, to be precise. And thank you all once again for giving me this opportunity. And we have started mostly based in Calcutta, but we have an office in Delhi, which is not functional very properly. But in Calcutta, we are a full-fledged, full-service law firm dealing with all sorts of issues which are there.
Wonderful, Pinak. We have a ILA chapter in Calcutta that is in need of a new leader. So hopefully you will help us.
Yes, definitely. It would be my privilege to get associated with the ILA chapter in Calcutta.
Sure. If you make a donation of 1 lakh, we'll make you president of ILA Calcutta.
Let me start with the junior most post, and then I would prefer climbing up the ladder.
Okay, TK. Are you bargaining with me? Will 25,000 do it?
We'll bargain it on a private call once this
Okay.
meeting is over.
No, I want to have this call. I'm bargaining with you publicly, because then I'm bargaining with 20 other people on the call as well.
Then, sir, you should start with the senior most person here.
Who else is more senior than you from Calcutta on the call?
No, I think someone was there from Fox. I think he heads both Calcutta and Delhi, right?
No,
No,
he's
I am
heading-
not from Calcutta. I am in Delhi, actually. I head the
Okay.
corporate practice of the firm, but in Delhi.
Okay, okay.
So, yeah.
So basically, Pinak is still bargaining with me. Even 25,000 is not doing it. So Pinak, let's do a compromise. Can we agree on 5,000 per year for 5 years?
Yes, sir, definitely.
Okay,
In Calcutta,
congratulations.
as you know, the economy is very bad. So we are struggling every day to make even 5,000 per day.
Okay. Well, that seems to be a personal problem you have, but then we agree on 5,000 a year for 5 years. Congratulations, you're president of ILA Calcutta. Okay. So, Dhruti, your turn.
Hi, good morning, one and all. Thank you for inviting me on this amazing conversation of how to manage the law firm. Basically, I'm a solicitor from Bombay, basically South Bombay, practicing in Bombay High Court and also Supreme Court of India. And it's been around 14 years that I'm in practice. I've worked with a couple of law firms. Thereafter, I thought to have my independent chambers, and I'm purely into counsel practice, though I relate and I have a lot of nexus with the law firms, but I'm independently having my counsel practice, to say so. And I'm also an author, and I'm also teaching in a couple of universities, because I believe how to teach and how to deliver is more important also than only just practicing in court. So that's about me. Yeah.
Thank you, Dhruti. You did a great job with ILA conference in Mumbai. Thank you. Sumesh, your turn.
Hi everyone, I'm Sumesh. I'm the managing partner of Lex Fabios. So Lex Fabios is a full-service law firm in Delhi and Bombay. So typically, the Lex Fabios, the key areas of practice are private equity, corporate commercial, real estate, hospitality, project financing, and dispute resolution. So I started my career in '96 with Singhani & Co. And then, spent around 15, 16 years with some of the large law firm. And eventually, 7 years back, I set up this law firm, Lex Fabios, and obviously we are growing at a very fast pace, and we see, this being to a very exciting time because India being one of the best jurisdiction now to be a lawyer.
So you started what year, Sumesh?
I started in '96, my career.
And the firm in what's Lex Fabios, what year?
Lex Fabios was in 2004.
Okay. And how many lawyers do you have now?
We have 25 lawyers.
And how old are you?
I am 50.
Okay. And what is retirement age?
Well, not decided since I started my firm at pretty much a very, the firms I was like, I'm pretty here. Firm's only 8 years old. Yeah. Still a long way to go where I grew the firm.
Namit, in India, there is a saying that in the profession, nobody retires.
Okay. So let's
you
say
have great precedents of some managing partners retiring and hanging over all go here.
Okay, let's say your retirement age is 75. And so you got 25 more years. You got 25 lawyers now. When you retire, how many lawyers do you want to have in Lex Fabios?
I believe next 25 years, we should be, if not more, at least 150 plus.
Okay.
And typically, of course, we already started mentoring. So my role is more about mentoring because we have very boutique areas of practice like, hospitality, project financing. So each of the associate partners we started grooming them and mentoring them to, eventually next 2 to 4 years, started taking over and handling their own areas of practice, and they would become the next leaders.
Okay, so you're 25 now, and you're going to work another 25 years. So that's, and you will have 125 more lawyers in the next 25 years. So that's what? 5 lawyers a year new you have to hire, at least 1 a quarter, plus replace whoever leaves you, and you'll get there. That's not too bad, 1 a quarter.
Yeah, that's the plan.
Okay.
Because obviously we are adding areas of practice. So typically the firms are still in a growth phase. So as we add an area of practice, we get 5 or 6 lawyers to, work on a new area of practice.
What's the largest firm in Delhi?
Largest firm would be, I believe, Khaitan or Amarchand. I believe Khaitan is one of the largest law firms.
No, but in Delhi, who's big? Who's the largest?
Yeah, Delhi. I would say Delhi only.
Delhi, I guess Khaitan, yes, yeah.
Khaitan is still one of the, in terms
of number of lawyers, yeah.
How many?
Sorry,
I believe 100 plus in Delhi at least. Yeah,
I think more than that.
No,
I
am from
Delhi,
Khaitan, so I can say we are around 250, 300 lawyers.
In Delhi?
In Delhi, yeah. We are 1100 plus lawyers in India. The largest office is Bombay with 400 plus lawyers. Delhi is 250 plus lawyers, 300 plus lawyers. Calcutta is the smallest. Bangalore follows. The smallest is the latest office in Chennai. And outside India, the smallest office or the only office we have is in Singapore, which is 5 people.
Okay. And how long have you been with Khaitan Himanshu?
10 years.
Okay. Are you happy?
Yeah, I am. But when I saw this content, I said, this is worth attending. Every lawyer has, I am a lawyer who has an entrepreneurial bent of mind. So always thought it won't be a bad idea to listen to some folks who are already doing it and have been doing for a long time now.
Correct.
So yeah, that's why I'm here.
Right. You're from Jaipur?
Born and brought up from Jaipur. I'm in Bombay from last 10 years.
Okay. Very good. Thank you for joining us.
Yes, thank you so much.
Well, when we have too many disagreements on the panel and we need a neutral person, I'll call on you.
Thank you so much. Happy to
All
help.
right. Thank you. Thank you. And Avish?
Yes, sir. Am I audible?
Yes.
Okay. First of all, let me thank you for having me on this board. And I must strongly congratulate ILA for doing this fabulous task. And it is actually very much required in India. We need to actually have a much bigger association, probably as many lawyers as possible across the nation, having to join such a network where we could come together, discuss on the issues, and do some cumulative action, take a cumulative action. Earlier, I have started a group of similar nature in which there were advocates from across the nation. And the idea was to ponder on the issues which lawyers are facing, and come up with nationwide PILs across various high courts of the country. So I'm really impressed with the view by which ILA has been conceptualized and is working. And probably maybe the initial purpose would have been different, but today the things are here in India. I believe the eventual objective which such an organization could achieve could be altogether different. So I'm Avish Sharma, founder of Prodigy Legal, and I'm really happy to be on the board and looking forward to some insightful discussion moving ahead.
And you're in which city right now?
I'm currently in Jammu. It happens to be my hometown. So
Okay.
Yes.
And you're practicing in Jammu as well?
I'm Jammu as well. I've been hustling with law. I started with corporate, international law, IP, and with hardcore corporate transactional law, and now having the taste of litigation as well for the past 3-4 years in the high court and tribunals and lower courts. So I've seen it from all the angles.
Thank you, Avish. We've met hundreds of people that talk like you and say wonderful things like you said. And it's those comments that keeps us going. And of course, we do get comments on the other side as well that are discouraging, but fortunately, we don't have a bone in our body that discourages us from anything anybody's saying. We carry on. But one good comment like yours helps us carry on for another year. What surprises the most is that often I hear talk from lawyers around the country, and my favorite negative kind of comment is, hey, why do I want to meet other lawyers? I'm like, okay, fine, don't meet other lawyers. Like, why should I go to an ILA event? I meet lawyers all the time. I'm like, okay, great. We're the only industry in India that doesn't have an industry body.
Absolutely. See, I believe the fate of the nation is in the hands of lawyers of India, especially for a country like India. We are just like 60, 70 years to independence. There's so much, like you said, the colonial laws, the Britishers, you look at the Criminal Procedure Code, what it is. Yeah. Really, right? The Supreme Court is time and again saying to the magistrates to follow what the judgments they have given and release the people who deserve to be released, but it's not there. You talk about tribunalization, the tribunalization is actually very bad for justice, for delivering justice to people. The cases linger on for years and years, where actually the relief is for a lay person. It's really hard to say. And we are independent, but I believe the advocates are blessed and burdened with the responsibility to take this nation forward. We need to do a lot.
What about the handcuffs on us? We're supposed to lead the nation. We got the nation free. If you look, there was an Indian Lawyers Association in 1882. It was called the Indian National Congress. And if you look at the topmost 50 people that did the most to get the country independent, at least half of them were lawyers. And I visited the Queen's Museum in Calcutta, and I saw a sign in 1882, there's an Indian lawyers meeting in Calcutta. And I'm like, what happened to this Indian Lawyers Association that was active in 1882 in Calcutta, active enough that it's on a bulletin board in the museum? And then, look at the handcuffs on us. And these handcuffs are keeping every single lawyer in India poorer than they need to be. We can't do anything. We can't serve our clients. We don't get them justice. They don't want to pay us. And as a result, 95% of the lawyers in India are not doing too well. And who's to blame for it? Us. Nobody else is going to come fix us and help us. We need to do it. And that industry.
Navneet, I have a question for you. Navneet, going back to your, earlier observation that people ask you that why should we meet lawyers, right? So I know for a fact that in the US, there is, a very, very sophisticated system of forming lawyers associations and various type of associations. I mean, I've heard like so much specialization, like South California, South Asian LGBTQ Lawyers Association. So there's like 3 or 4 levels of specialization, and still the association is very, very vibrant. So what is the difference? What is the benefit that those guys are seeing in associating together vis-a-vis why are we not doing that in India? Can you throw some light on that?
Well, first and foremost, 75 lawyers got together on horses in New York in 1878 and formed American Bar Association 145 years ago. And what have we done in India now? And so, first of all, there's a lot of history. And then US has always been a very association-centric country. There is an association for everything. There's an association for blonde-haired dogs with blue eyes. And, like you said, there is, 4 level down. There's 6,000 bar associations in the United States. Wow. So it's inculcated. So there's 3,000 counties. So like India has districts, 700 plus. US has 3,058 counties. Each county has a bar association. LA County Bar Association, New York County Bar Association, and so on and so forth. Some of the larger cities have bar associations. Then every topic, there is a bar association. So the tax people have their bar association. The American ILA, American Immigration Lawyers Association, has 6,000 members. At their annual convention, 2,000-3,000 show up. So for every subject matter, there is a bar association. And so people benefit from going to bar associations because law is so complicated in the country, and it's so deep and it's so strong and wide. They need specialties, right? So each lawyer that's specializing in something needs a referral from other lawyers. So there's not general practice lawyers that many in the country. So when you're specializing, then you need others to give you work. Then the law firms, which I'm very sad about, not very happy with the big Indian firms in India. Every time we've reached out to them, they almost discourage their lawyers to attend an ILA event. I don't know what the issue, I can guess what the issues are, but the big law firms in the United States or England or all the other developed countries, they push their employees to join bar association. They'll pay their dues. They'll encourage it so much that I could go to any city in the United States and do a free event for an Indian Lawyers Association in 5 minutes. All I have to do is call up some big law firm and say, hey, can you do an event for us? Can you give us some food and beer and wine and whatever your hospitality? Nobody's going to say no. No, not one law firm is going to say no. And when I try to do that in India, the response is not very positive. So the encouragement from the law firms. So as a challenge, all the big law firms in the United States, right? There's a thing called AmLaw 250. American Lawyer Magazine prints out a list of the 250 largest law firms in the country. There's also AmLaw 100. There's also AmLaw 500. AmLaw 250 is famous. So you go to any one of the 250 largest law firms and go to that law firm's website and click on the people button. And I bet you my life, click on any lawyer, anyone of the 100,000 lawyers that work at these AmLaw 250, and you look at their bio, and you will see member of this bar association, member that bar association, past president this bar association, current board member of this bar association. Every law firm wants every one of their lawyers to belong to a bar association, actively participate in that bar association. They also want them to participate in a local charity or a big charity. So every lawyer, college, articles they've written, associations they belong to, bar associations they belong to, charities they belong to, and so on and so forth. So then it becomes a habit. So Akshat, this Indian Lawyers Association, I had the privilege of starting in United States in 1993, and now we have 29 chapters, each one of them flourishing on their own. We have a national association as well. We've had hundreds of marriages between Indian lawyers. This Indian Lawyers Association of United States, there's 29 chapters in US and Canada. So I've hired many good employees from the Indian Lawyers Association meetings in United States. Lots of people have gotten their jobs. Lots of people have gotten internships. Lots of people have gotten married. Lots of people have gotten clients referred to them. Every single person, Indian lawyer, is richer in United States today because of the Indian Lawyers Association. Several of them, about 100, have become judges in United States thanks to our association. So I could go on for another hour, but I think that I said enough, Akshat.
No, since we are talking about the business of law firm and how to manage a firm. I just wanted to bring this aspect that why ILA is commercially beneficial for lawyers, or the structure of ILA is commercially beneficial for lawyers.
It's a win-win. I think we all hold hands, and if we try to make ourselves successful and richer and prosperous, and we carry everyone with us, our street gets better, our city gets better, our state gets better, and our country gets better. But if our dream is that we want to be a first world nation by 2047, we got 25 years, we're not going to become a first world nation with a third world judicial system. That's not going to happen. And that's one of the big purposes we are here, that I think we got political freedom in 47, we got economic freedom in 91. The next level up for us to become a first world nation, we lawyers have to step up. Rajiv.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. Firstly, thank you so much to you and Madhura for having me here and for giving me this opportunity. For the benefit of everyone, my name is Rajiv Ramhatla, and I am currently heading the Hyderabad office of a full-service law firm, KSK, King, Stubb and Kasiva, which is a rather young firm compared to the ones that we've been talking about so far this morning. We're about 17, 18 years old, started in the year 2004 in Delhi, and grew to about 9 offices therefrom. And the 5th office we set up in India was the Hyderabad office, which I have been heading, and I've had the privilege to set up roughly about 5 years ago, around 2018 in June. And I myself am originally from a city called Visakhapatnam, and I'm actually the president of the Visakhapatnam chapter of the ILA. Not past president, and don't hope to be. I'm the current president, and hopefully plan to do big things with this chapter going forward, and with the ILA in general. And coming back to my personal background, although I'm originally from Visakhapatnam, I grew up for the most part in Bangalore. Did my education, including my legal education there, and was initially working in Bangalore and shuttling between Bangalore and Hyderabad, and have been in my current role for about 5+ years, heading the Hyderabad office of KSK. And KSK, as I said, is a 17, 18-year-old firm and is a full-service law firm that originally started as a corporate and commercial outfit. And quickly grew to various practice areas. Now we're about 160 lawyers across 9 offices in India and 2 offices abroad. And in terms of practice areas, we do everything from M&A transactions, advisory to real estate to finance to TMT, and of course disputes and litigation. Personally, I'm a litigator based out of Hyderabad. I appear regularly before the High Courts of Telangana and Andhra Pradesh and the NCLT benches here. Also appear occasionally before the High Court of Karnataka and the NCLT benches and the NCLAT benches in Chennai as well as Delhi. I like to think of myself as a budding enthusiast of arbitration and litigation, and look forward to growing in these areas. So that's it about me, and I'll look forward to learning more from all of you here. And thank you so much once again for having me here.
Thank you, Rajiv. Thank you so much. And also helping ILA. That's just great. Pinak, how many lawyers do you have now?
Yeah, I have about 21 lawyers working with me in Calcutta.
Okay. And the largest law firm in Calcutta has how many lawyers? You don't have to name the firm. Just tell me how many lawyers they have.
I think it should be roughly around 70.
70. Okay. So by the end of our meeting today, Pinak,
Yes.
is it Pinak or Pinak?
Pinak.
Pinak. Okay. So by the end of this call, you will have everything you need to know about how to become the #1 law firm in Calcutta.
Yes.
And for the rest of your life, you will never need to talk to any guru or read any book or do anything in life except for follow the advice that you received today. So you're going to be our guinea pig because you made the mistake early on by saying you're the youngest one here.
I would be happy to learn.
Okay. Take some notes, and Vikrant on the call is saying that we should have a mentoring group that helps people set up law firms in India. And if you will take notes, you have to do Guru Dakshina, right? So you'll get a lot of advice, but in return, we expect you to send us 25 bullet points of everything you learned today. So we can put it on our website for years for people to read, and for Vikrant, who's on the call, wanting some advice. Okay, so Rajiv, what's your 3 bits of advice to Pinak of how he can become from 21 lawyers to 70 lawyers rapidly?
Sure. So I first of all, I don't think I'm much older than Pinak. I'm probably in the same boat. But having been in the position that I am, it is for the better part of the last decade or so, I have some idea of running an office of an established firm, and in some senses running a law firm as well. Having said that, I think the first thing that all of us need to keep in mind is one person can't do everything, right? That's one thing that we need to realize. You need to have a team, you need to trust your colleagues, and you need to be able to work with people and ensure that people are working well with you and for you. That's, I think, the first and most important thing that you can do, and that's something I've seen in my firm in KSK. From the time I joined, when I joined KSK, we were just about 4 offices, and we grew to 9 offices now, with our 9th office just opening less than a month or so ago. So the key, I think, is to network. The key is to work with people. The key is to collaborate and to recognize people's strengths. Because one person can't do everything, you have to recognize your own strengths, and you also have to be able to recognize the strengths of the people that you're working with. So let's say you might have your colleagues who are experienced in one particular area, and then you know that you are experienced in another particular area, and you will have to try your best to push yourself in the field that you're interested in. Like, for example, for me, Commercial litigation and arbitration is something that I hold very dear to my heart. So I keep updating myself, ensuring that I'm on top of the game in terms of the latest updates in arbitration or commercial litigation. And similarly, my colleagues in their own respective fields do the same, and we try to share our knowledge with each other. We all of us across the firm have a call at least once a month or so, or we even try to have meetings. Like, for example, for Holi last month, we had a small event where all of the lawyers from all offices of our firm caught up in Bangalore. And we had a small event where, of course, there was fun, frolic games and all of that, but there was also a solid 1-2 hours of knowledge sharing session where all of us were exchanging ideas, discussing latest developments. And this was around the time when the entry of foreign firms was being announced into India. So all of us shared a few thoughts on that as well. So I think it's very important to know your team, to have a team, and to collaborate well with your team and ensure that knowledge is being shared. And I think the third most important thing is to ensure that power and authority are decentralized. I think when everything is concentrated in the hands of one person, it becomes very difficult for that one person to manage things. And it also
is that advice for Pinnack or the government of India, New Delhi?
I think it goes both ways, but primarily for in the context of running a firm, especially for Pinnack, I think it'll help if we trust others more with authority. Yeah. Sorry, sir, go ahead.
Akshat, Rajiv talked about a team. How should Pinnack decide how much to pay employees and how many levels, and is it by seniority, or what advice do you have when it comes to human resources?
Sure. So my take is about this topic is that the business of law firm, I mean, as a managing partner or a set of partners who are in the top of the food chain, they have to play a dual role. One is that you are running a business and you are acting as a lawyer. So you have to keep that segregation very, very clear, that when you are running a law firm, from a business point of view, your thought process has to be different. And as a lawyer, you should not be thinking as a lawyer while you are running your business, and vice versa. So what it basically practically means is that you are basically either you are setting up or you have already set up and you are trying to grow an organization. So the same rules that applies to a product company or a service company or an e-commerce company or any kind of company applies to the business of law firm as well. Just that the plant and machinery are human beings and the product is your legal advice. That is the only difference. Otherwise, there is no difference. So when you are a small law firm, from 2 to 25 people, there is high level of creativity, high level of control from top to bottom, but less of procedures, processes, less of, there is more movement in the firm, more creativity, more vibrancy in the firm. Everybody is doing and trying to grow the firm. Everybody is, trying to have the largest practice within the firm. But when you are progressing towards being 50-member or 75-member firm, you need to, as a managing partner or a set of top partners, you need to have set procedures, processes, timelines, guiding everything that is happening in the firm. Whether it is marketing, business development, accounts, finance, how to get a client, how to service a client, how to bill and invoice a client, and how to do recoveries. Everything has to be set in terms of procedures, so that by that time, when you are, like I was running my own firm for 10 years. I started with one associate. And when I merged with Fox Bundle this year in January, we had around 15 lawyers. And my practice was pretty much the same, the corporate M&A stuff like that. But at that point of time, we had at least, maybe not in writing everything, but at least in practice, everything was set in terms of procedure as to how to do things. We were using software, we were using, basic tools for running the documentation, due diligence, etc. So that is the transition that you have to make, and you have to, bring in your organization, because at that point of time, you are at that age of your life that you start, thinking about having the second league take the control rather than you yourself always being the control. That is part one. Otherwise, it's not an organization, it's a chamber practice. So let's be very clear about what we are doing here. Second, about your question regarding how to compensate lawyers, I think that is the most important thing and the least probably thought about thing in Indian law firms, at least, because we are still dealing with the rudimentary formulas of a fixed salary and a revenue share, fixed salary and a profit share. You refer business to the firm, you get 15% cut, etc., etc. This is like, I'm sure Navneet would know more, but I think this is extremely rudimentary. I've read a lot of literature on it. There are much more sophisticated systems to motivate people to contribute things to non-legal work also. Like as a partner or as an associate partner, senior associate, or even a junior associate, you can contribute a lot to the law firm by doing things which are other than your hardcore legal work. You can, do trainings. You can contribute in the processes, marketing, etc., etc. A lot of things, and you have to be compensated for that. So now the question is how to compensate people for non-legal work. Legal work is pretty simple. Look at the timesheet. Say that 25% of your billables is your bonus, or 30% or whatever percentage you decide.
25% is salary or bonus?
So, like for example, what I have followed is that whatever a person has billed in a year, we keep calculating on a monthly basis, and then basis that you set a percentage that for associates is this much percentage of his billables, and so on and so forth.
Akshat, there's one big law firm in the US. That is, sorry to interrupt, but there's one big law firm in the US. They have a simple compensation methodology, and their methodology is called Eat What You Kill. And this law firm says to its lawyers, we will pay you 33% of whatever you bill. And the old traditional service company model that in all service companies, accountants, lawyers, plumbers, architects, doctors, whatever, you should pay your employees 1/3 of what they bill. 1/3 goes as their compensation, 1/3 goes as overhead, and 1/3 goes as profit for the partners and for growth and for loan interest on loans or whatever, right? So what do you think of a model like that? Eat what you kill.
I don't agree with that. There are two basic reasons why I don't agree with it. I mean, I'm sure it works for few people, but it doesn't grow an organization. It doesn't, I don't have, as a person who is part of such an ecosystem, I don't have any incentive to say train my juniors, or to market for some other partner, or to cross refer to another partner. Or if I am a corporate lawyer, I don't care whether the litigation team is doing well or not, right? It is basically a firm within a firm model, which sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. That is my take. And second is that the person who is sitting at the top has to be in control of everything and keep forcing everybody to do everything. If he or she falls ill, or God forbid dies, or something bad happens, or there is a COVID-like situation where everybody is at home and free to do whatever they're trying to do, this thing doesn't work, and it doesn't grow an organization beyond a point.
So Samba, what is your 3 bits of advice to Pinak for sales, marketing, biz dev, and branding of his firm?
Right. So I think Pinak is going to seem like he's going to earn the most out of this whole session. All right. No, sure.
Just so the audience knows, we didn't plan any of this. I didn't tell Sambhav any questions. I haven't told any other panelists any questions. And I warned them that we're going to have an open discussion. So sorry, panelists, I'm just throwing these questions at you.
It seems like Pinak has agreed to your offer for 1 lakh rupees.
I was just going to say, now we know why Pinak is paying for his position.
I will get 1 lakh out of him one way or another.
All right. So Navneet, I think good discussion has begun already. So when it comes to branding and all, there are a lot of aspects that need to sort of go in. I mean, as a firm, what I can say, what we as, as a model that we want to work with and we do is we want to make sure that each firm member is sort of a stakeholder. It doesn't work where only partners or the senior partners or the other senior level members alone drive decisions, right? Idea is to sort of make sure that as a team, we operate in a way where everybody has got a say in possible all actions out there. Of course, there is, with experience comes wisdom, which is always the case. But having said that, the idea is the more collaborative the model is, I think so the more bigger sort of the outcome will be. And when it comes to sort of branding, there are a lot of aspects that we have to sort of look at, right? There are a lot of, not only just the client work is what is relevant, and naturally a lot of work that generates or branding that happens is naturally out of the good work and therefore referrals which end up happening. But besides that, there are a lot of other aspects that one needs to sort of concentrate and focus upon. To start with, there are a lot of billable, if I would say, or the knowledge management related initiatives that one has to take, which we as a firm sort of make sure that not only just at the partner level, even amongst the principal associates or senior associate level, people have started doing those aspects, and not only within the organization, but even beyond, right? So there are panels, there are sort of platforms, there are publications, there are other ways to sort of get your visibility out there, which is naturally one of the most critical aspect that as an organization, there's sort of a model what we typically follow, that if you are spending 70% of your time towards a billable work and 30% on the non-billable work, right? There is a lot that is there part of non-billable work. Automatically, if everybody is taking care of that situation, we eventually will lead to a situation where all your requirements of the revenue or the firm, billings and all that needs to be taken care is taken care. And when it comes to the professional growth, right, as a personal growth for each member is concerned, that is also taken care by virtue of the involvement on the non-billable aspects.
Samba Pinak's revenue this year is 2 crores and he wants it to be 10 crores in the next 3 years. What is 2 things he can do to go from 2 to 10 crores in the next 3 years?
I think so. I would say the 2 big points is one, if the concentration is towards revenue, see, there are 2 ways of growth. Okay. One, the organic, the other is lateral, right? And I would say not only just that, there are a lot of firms out there in India who have grown purely by virtue of lateral growth. There are a lot of firms who have grown only by organic. I would say the best model is somewhere between the 2, okay, which is the third model, which is a mix of lateral as well as organic. If Pinak continues to sort of concentrate on that model where while internally he's building up the resources, but at the same time, he needs to sort of venture out in certain other practice areas. He needs to certainly get resources. He needs to get sort of more people or other experts, if I would say, to branch out on other areas, which will multiply the revenues for the organization, right? So that's one. And second point, which stands large out, besides, of course, the non-billable and knowledge management initiatives that I mentioned, I think so he needs to also understand that with the growing economy, with the changing landscape, with the changing legal fraternity, he needs to figure out which are the areas which are go-to in not the near, but even long term, right? And those are going to be the heavy churners when it comes to making revenues for the organization. So that's the other piece which he perhaps needs to focus to get to 10 as per your question. I mean the 2 points which come up.
Avish, what is your thought about what advice would you give Pinak that, hey, you should figure out a goal in life that in the next 5 years or 10, you want to be more than 70 lawyers and become the biggest law firm in Kolkata. You think he should have written goals and mission and values and mission statement and core values. You think he should come up with a vision document, or that's not required?
He should. Depends on person to person, organization, your principles, your values, like you said. See, I'm very proud. If somebody says, what have you earned, Avish? I say proudly that whatever income I have generated through my law profession is of pure, each and every penny of that is pure. Now, it also depends the areas of practice Pinak is into. First of all, I believe in quality rather than quantity. So 70 lawyers or 50 lawyers, or probably he has a team of 30 lawyers who are very efficient and they could do the task. So the first thing is there has to be growth which is steady, which is steady. That is very, very important. Now, how he has to grow, that totally depends. First, the whole roadmap, it has to be very customized. The plan of action, the marketing techniques, the networking, the quality of legal services, the client dealing, the client satisfaction. There's so many factors attached to it. All depends, all starts with the area of law he practices into. Is he into litigation? He's into corporate advisory. He's into IP. So if he's, for example, into litigation, the name spreads with the number of cases the firm is going to win, the positive results the firm is going to achieve. Now, as you understand, there is a roadblock there for itself. Then, like you said, in US, the law firms ask their attorneys to be part of a NGO or part of a charity. Probably it's a way to market and spread wings as well. So that could be a mode. Then there are aggregator sites. That could be a mode. Online, they have to increase their presence. Then the quality of services that they give to their clients, that also matters. So yes, the roadmap has to be custom made. But as you coming back to your question, Mr. Chug, yes, there has to be values. The growth, there has to be a sustainable growth. Again, that is my view. But as you know, there are so many firms, and especially law firms, and values and morals or immorals means at times are sidestepped, and the growth in all this competitive growth, revenue-oriented market, people sideline such values, and it is in abundance in legal area. Yes.
Good. Thank you, Abish. So Pinak, if you have a piece of paper and pen, then I would say to you that I will share with you the 6 letters by which I have run my law firm for the last 30 some years. And Sambhav knows this well since we work together, but I call it FISH MK. And the FISH MK stands for Finance, IT, Sales, HR, Marketing, Knowledge Management. And I have 6 departments for our firm. And there's a leader for each one of these 6 departments. And together I call it a corporate management group. And this CMG has right now about 50 employees. And these 50 have been with me for many, many years, or the leaders at least have been with me for many, many years. And literally the firm runs on autopilot. Never seen a dollar come in, how it gets deposited, how it gets spent, who's paying the bills, how's the money being collected. The HR department is awesome, always on top. We have a simple rule in the HR department. We're always hiring. We're recession or no recession, we're always hiring. If we get a good person, and if I have to just say one sentence to anybody about running a law firm, I would say the following. If there is a good person that applies, we hire them, whether we need them or not. And it's shocking. When you hire a good person, I don't know how, but my goodness, work follows. Comes from God knows where. And this one person who's good comes in, and within 30, 45, 60 days is the busiest person in the office. And you hire a bad person, which is a problem. Why did we hire him to begin with? But if you hire a bad person, that person will stay not busy for the next 10 years. So if you're always hiring, then you have a great attitude that if you get a good person, you're going to hire them. So we have this FISH MK departments. The firm runs autopilot. And so the reason I bring up this FISH MK is that the remaining panelists I haven't asked. So Dhruti and Sumesh, if you have any comments or any advice to Pinak about FISH MK. I think I asked Sambhav about sales and I asked Akshat about HR. And I asked Abish about vision. Dhruti, what's your advice to Pinak? One or two or three bits of advice. And I hope one of your advice, by the way, if we have at my firm about 700 employees and 70% of them are women, and 80% of the partners and managers and seniors are women. So I'm hoping, or I'm thinking, Dhruti, your advice to Pinak is going to be very simple: hire more women than men.
Yeah, see, basically, I've been hearing you all quite diligently, because I thought I should give more inputs about what I feel from a different angle. It's like, Pinak, you are in a new race of growing your law firm. I would put it this way: the most important thing I feel in our legal industry is networking with like-minded people. In that sense, to understand what exactly the market scenario is, what kind of practice is growing. Accordingly, when you network, what I see from the people here in Bombay, you do try to understand the real industry demand. If you do that, you will know what kind of matters you could bring in for your law firm, what kind of practice can be grown, and what kind of people you need to hire. Because if that chain is dotted out well, I'm sure you will have a better perspective towards how you want to grow your firm. I also believe give equal opportunities, because if, I've seen many employers saying, oh, we don't want a woman to be hired. Why? Because she may get married. Oh, she may just leave the job. There are some employers who say we want women because they work better. So this discriminations in your mind should not be running as an employer. Go on a merit, go on a reference who is good enough to stick around in your firm for a long time. Because see, if you have people for 2 years, 3 years, it's an investment, a temporary investment. But if you are going to invest for a larger years, you need to have a clear mindset that yes, we want to grow together, give equal opportunities to people around you, and do not keep any sort of discrimination. Market is running. So you need to keep your eyes open by going to many seminars. I would say evening times are good for meeting new people. If you are running a law firm, at least 6 to 7 new people you must meet in a day. Some kind of, clock up periods you should be keeping for marketing yourself. Like a business development person should be hired. Because I've worked in a couple of law firms. They have independent resources where business development employees are hired. They're paid much higher than lawyers. Because they are the ones who will be marketing for you, who will be getting some good work for you. So how the industry is running, you must have the flexibility to keep those resources, just not lawyers and associates and clerks. You need to have marketing industrial people also involved in your law firm, which most of you all have, I'm sure. Like, you all have people who will be getting up, having meetings with corporates, you'll be having meetings with different people that you want to try and pitch out, showing your law firm profiles. Most important and funny thing, which I see quite often, and I'm bold enough to say this with due respect, there are paid awards which are given to law firms. So does that help in marketing? I don't know. Or there are genuine awards which are given out in marketing. So what I mean to say, how you want to put your work before the client is very important, because everybody knows what kind of awards are like, for what levels and why they are given out. So with that kind of clarity, if you run your show, I think with genuinely, with long term, your goodwill will be developed, and people will come forward with a reasonable marking if you would put out for the fees, because cost effectiveness is also very, very important. It's like, why should I come to your law firm as a client when I can get lesser fee outpaid and get better services in other law firm? So you need to keep that, costing also in your mind if you're going to grow. Because as a counsel, I do see people also see this, okay, who's a better counsel, who's got a better face value here before XYZ judge, and how their markings are. So everything works on the cost and how you maintain it. So networking will help you grow, understand all this insights of it. This is what I would like to tell.
Thank you, Dhruti. That's wonderful. Sumesh, you get the toughest question since you've been doing this a long time.
Yes.
What is your advice to Pinak about hiring or maintaining salaried partners versus equity partners? And do you think he can become a 70 lawyer firm without getting equity partners?
So the answer is, when you hire people, you have to, of course, when you're growing a law firm, especially, you have to hire people at different levels. So you have to see, so giving our example also, one, obviously you have to, because supposedly any young firm is not in a position to offer all services. So to grow, it's very, very essential that, and of course, so it's a chicken and egg story where if you're not having the right type of people, you will not be able to offer that practice area to our clients. Or our clients will expect the lawyer to have some expertise in an area before he hires you. So that becomes a difficult question. But yeah, the way we've been doing, and my advice to him is like, when you are to hire, you need to hire the right people. You need to hire people with diverse areas of practice. So, if you're looking to grow your real estate practice, you're looking to grow your dispute resolution, you're looking to grow a project financing practice. So then you need to hire people and, give them some flexibility to grow the practice areas. And yes, coming to the second bit, very importantly, yes, because so there are two ways of hiring, because we've been at least as we discussed earlier in the either you grow organically or you go in a lateral way. Lateral is obviously more easier, where you typically get a whole team of lawyers and partners from a law firm, existing law firm, and just like a new area of practice. But again, that has its own pros and cons. The pros are typically it's very, very, you can get in someone, but they may well gel in with your firm at host, or maybe not, or they probably, at least in my experience, I'm seeing how Indian law firms are working. I see one set of partners and lawyers moving from A firm to B, B to C, C to D. So that's the movement's been pretty regular. Or so how I think I personally feel organic way is more easier, where instead of, I'm not saying that you grow each lawyer to a different area, but hire people with expertise and let them grow the practice area. So
Sumesh, if Pinak promotes somebody or offers equity partnership to a lawyer, should he charge them or should he give the equity partnership for free?
I think if you're giving the equity partnership, it has to be charged. You cannot be, if someone spent whatever 10 years, 15 years in growing a firm. So that's where the demarcation comes. Like, you have partners non-equity, wherein they're offered, they're getting a percentage of the billing of their work done. So let's say a person handling a practice area or a B practice area, he would be, not only getting a percentage of his billing, but getting a percentage of the billing of the entire team. That's typically the way a partnership works. But when it comes to the level of equity, moving a step further, equity partner, where he's not only getting a percentage billing or a profits of his team, but of the entire firm, then of course that's usually a concept where you have a paid partnership where a person pays to be a partner. Unlike very fair, I have no prejudice because I've personally been partner with some of the largest law firms. So there is no concept of a paid partnership in India in most firms, because the reason is because most of the firms are family run. So they may be claiming to have 100 partners or 200 partners, but the equity of partner is 0.25 or 0.5%. So having being a 0.25 or a 0.5 equity partner in a firm has a very feel-good factor of saying you're an equity partner, but that's not really an equity partnership. So if you're making someone a meaningful equity partnership, I am not aware of anyone who will offer a 10%, 15% equity free of cost. Typically, yes, there has to be a price to it, and someone has to buy into equity.
Okay. Himanshu,
can I just add one aspect to what Sumesh said? I think this is something that needs to be clarified. When we talk about equity sharing in law firms in India, we have to be mindful as to what exactly are we talking about. In India, we have partnership firms only. We don't have, corporate structures or LLP. Even LLPs, very few of the law firms are LLP. So when we are talking about equity, are we talking about equity in terms of the shareholding of the entity, which in partnership terms, it practically means nothing, or it is very difficult to decipher because nobody does a valuation of the entity. There is no basis of a valuation. And a single lawyer negotiating with a big law firm you generally don't have that kind of a bargaining power to actually say that you value my business 5 times EBITDA of my business and you value your business 5 times EBITDA, and then you make a comparison and give me an equity. So that doesn't work.
Akshat, there I will little disagree with you, because if you see all the new generation firms, in fact, a law firm mergers are a pretty trend which has been happening for the last 4 or 5 years. And typically, at least we've been seeing of all the young generation firms, like, firms of 15 lawyers, 20 lawyers merging with another firm of a like-minded or a bigger. So there is a whole thing of valuations being done where the firms are being valued. And so if you have many instances where a firm of, let's say, 25 people is merging into a B firm or a C firm, there is a whole calculation of, of course, when you merge into a bigger firm, you will be acquiring a certain percentage of equity partnership of that firm. And that very much, now you have agencies or you have certain people in the legal fraternity who are actually getting into the, so firms are being valued. So if a firm of, let's say,
no, so the firm that is being acquired may be valued, but you will not have any visibility of the firm that you are going to be merged with.
No, of course, because
you cannot ask. I mean, if tomorrow, like for example, the large firms like Amarchand or Saraf or any firm who is merging practices with them to increase their numbers, I don't know if they are publishing their or even telling, disclosing their.
But of course,
I don't think that there is that kind of visibility. I was just hinting on that.
Yeah, but it would not be in public domain. But yes, there is a valuation to a firm, because giving a simple example, if a smaller firm is merging to a bigger firm, of course, the smaller firm set of 15 or 20 people who are merging, they would have a visibility, or they would be given numbers how our calculation is being done. If they're being offered, let's say, even a 2%, 4%, whatever, X number of equity, it cannot be on it doesn't happen in a blank side. They are being told, like, look, you are merging to a firm which is worth 300 CR or which is worth X amount. So your equity or your contribution or the business you, the goodwill or the various factors, how you.
Correct. So there are the methods, but I'm just saying that it is not that sophisticated like any other industry, or even in accounting industry or even in audit industry. I mean,
I think the only difference is still, of course, it's something behind the scene, behind the doors. It's not in public domain. Unlike no law firm would. Typically, law firms would publish their annual figures, like how much their revenues are. That's something a new trend has started. But how you value a firm and how much is a firm, or some of the top.
That is something that.
But again, if someone merge, that figures do come, and the firms are being valued now. I think that is a sea change.
The second factor, I'll just complete my argument and then you can step in. The second factor is that even if you are getting an equity, like Sumesh said, that you have to pay in for an equity. So that is obviously the ideal structure if somebody has to do it, because that is how it happens in mature markets. But in the Indian context, we don't have any visibility on the exit of that equity also. So if, for example, tomorrow, exit of the equity. So if, for example, tomorrow I want to resign, or if I want to retire, or if I am not being able to work completely, so my family needs that, realization of that equity. There is no visibility on the exit value of the equity that you are getting in a law firm in India. So those are the two practical aspects that I wanted to highlight when we are talking about equity, because this discussion keeps on happening in a very sophisticated manner, but on a practical level, it doesn't seem very, I don't know the meaning of it, frankly speaking.
I think, sorry, Rajiv, just,
Yes. No, I was just trying to sum up what both of you were saying. I think one reason for this, Sumesh, you very rightly pointed it out, is that I think there is no mandate on Indian firms, law firms, especially as Akshat rightly pointed out, most of them are partnership firms. So there's no mandate for them to publish the data with regard to the equity or even the annual revenue and things like that. But summing up the argument or the thoughts on equity, I would look at it this way. Of course, it's very fair that somebody is expected to put out certain amount of money before buying into equity. But I think it's the simplest way to put it is, it's better to own 50% of a watermelon than 100% of a grape, right? I mean, I think that's I think the simplest way that you can look at it.
True. Right.
But you should know if you're dealing with a watermelon or a grape or a chiku or what exactly you're dealing with.
You're right. So actually, I think the highlight difference.
I just sorry to extend this point too much, but
no.
I mean,
But
Again,
again,
I think this is one of the biggest mysteries of the Indian law firms, and one day we're going to do a session just on this topic.
Correct.
Sumesh, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was saying was as I was saying earlier, typically how the Indian law firms work right now is because they are all typically family run. So a smaller percentage of equity is given to a partner. But typically, because since I've also been part of being an equity partner with some of the larger firms, I never bought any equity in any firm, any of the equity partnerships where I was. But the partnership did typically say you can offer X percentage of equity, but you're holding at the discretion of a managing partner. The day you leave, you give it away. So when I left, I was under an obligation to give it back. But having said that, but now with the new generation law firms coming in, because the era of family law firms, obviously the biggest law firms are still the family ones, but all the new generation firms like, you say a firm like a Trilegal or an Indus Law, which are new homegrown firms, and which doesn't have one single family running. So they have a concept of equity partnership, and I'm sure now that the new generation firms, which are now 200, 300 lawyers, once they start, one of the equity partners, in fact, there's been a case of one of the firms where one of the equity founding partners leaving, the other partners bought him out. His partnership was because there were three partners who I would not like to name the firm in a public forum, but the three partners started the firm, and one of the partners, when he left 3 years back, they valued the firm and they bought out his equity, or his equity was bought out or distributed among other partners. So he was given a payout. So
I think one of the secrets of life is to not reinvent what has already been invented.
Yes, absolutely.
And I think large law firms and large CPA, CA firms and consulting firms around the world have been around for over 100 years. And they have established methodologies on how they do this. We just need to learn. And one of the secrets of our life, all of us on this call, is cut, copy, paste. And so we should just figure out what has been working for them and adopt what's working and modify it to the Indian ways of doing business, and we'll get there. But this is such an important topic. And for Pinak to become the largest law firm in Calcutta in the next few years, this is going to be one of his biggest challenges. It's hard to deal with employees, and it's very hard to deal with salaried partners, and extremely hard to deal with equity partners. But this is something you have to go through. While we have Himanshu on the call, Himanshu, you work at the largest law firm in India. What's going on? Can you share 3 reasons why Khaitan is the largest law firm in India, and so Pinak can cut, paste, copy and become the largest law firm in Calcutta?
I think, yeah, he has dropped out.
Okay. All right. I made the mistake of putting on chat that Himanshu, I'm going to ask you this question. So I think after that, he ran away. Okay. So Pinak, you've heard a lot.
Yes, I would, with your permission, sir, I would like to share a few insights, what I gathered in my, say, 2.5 years of experience of being a partner at this law firm. So initially, I heard it was a wonderful insight from others gathering this information. So what I personally believe is that a firm grows both internally and externally, right? So when my firm, the idea of creating this firm occurred to me, I was having a pretty steady practice of my own individual practice in criminal law mostly. So I decided to go ahead with this firm thing with my most trusted associate who was working with me for 8 years. So she joined, and another person who is also like my brother, we 3 created this firm. So then we saw to it that my associate was working with me. We unanimously decided to make her the chairperson of this firm. So that is how we proceeded, number one. Number two is, I have seen that in case of firms, people say that lateral growth and all. We are targeting greater opportunities, trying to generate revenue, and we bring in people from outside without actually knowing how that person is individual, because that thing, individual core ideas and values matters. I'm talking about my firm, which is a very small one. So in my firm, the people who are working with me as a team, we all know each other personally. We are very well connected. We have worked on a personal level for quite some time, and then we have given them a place of, say, entitlement, a position in this law firm. Earlier,
You went on mute, Pinak.
what we do is we keep them, say, on a probation period with either of the partners to work individually without assigning them a role or giving them a job per se in the firm. So once we are okay and comfortable with that person, the mentality of that person, there's a sense of trust. It is only then that we offer a role to that person. Number one. Number two, as Dhruti was saying regarding women empowerment, and this is also very important, that in a law firm, female colleagues feel very safe and homely. And we should also ensure that in my law firm also, we have created from the very first day that we have a cell of sexual harassment at the workplace cell, which is always, from the very first day we saw to it that is there. We saw to it that the female employees are taken care of, their needs are well respected, their ideas, and when a decision, we have to come to a decision regarding any major issue. So it is not only the partners, but also the senior associates who are, we try to have a democratic opinion about all of them and then weigh the pros and cons and then move forward. So that is the internal approach of my firm. Regarding the external approach, sir, you pointed out Fish MK, that is definitely is there. But apart from that, I would just like to add one more thing, that with respect to big law firms, mostly their clienteles are big corporates, and apart from providing service, there is also a target of increasing the revenue and the billables. Now, coming from my background, and what I see is that it is also important that we cater to the needs of individual clients. It's very easy to satisfy clients and corporate clients, because see, we know the internal workings of the companies. There's a law sale officer who is a liaison officer between a law firm and that company, and if things go well, the matters come to this firm or that firm, and it keeps on going. But it is only when, say, individual clients with bare minimum resources, when they approach a law firm and they get a proper service and they're comfortable with that sort of service, it is only then that the law firm can say that, okay, I have given quality client satisfaction. And through word of mouth also, the reputation of that small law firm might increase. So that is my take on the issue.
Awesome, Pinak. We wish you all the best. And I hope you take this stuff to your heart. We want you to become the largest law firm in Calcutta, and we'll all support you and help you for the rest of our life.
Thank you so much, sir.
Law firm. I have one guru 20 some years ago gave me, I think, $100 million advice for free. And I since then feel like it is my responsibility to give that advice to others for free. And that advice is that, Pinak, if you want to have 100 lawyers and become the largest law firm in Calcutta, then you need to stop, starting today. You need to stop working in the business and you need to start working on the business. When you are a 100 lawyer firm, your revenue will be 100 crores. Divide 100 crores by 2,000 hours a year, 40 hours a week. And that number will probably come to 5 lakh rupees per hour or 50 lakhs or whatever big number. That's how much you are worth if you're running the firm. So if the next half an hour, whatever is on your calendar, if it's not going If it is not worth 50 lakhs per hour, then don't do it. So if you continuously work on the firm and not in the firm, you will become, my guarantee, the largest owner of the largest law firm in Calcutta. It's midnight for me, so I'm going to be a Cinderella, and I will ask Samba to please do the question and answer session for our panel. Thank you so much.
Yep.
Samba.
Thank you, Navneet. So I see there was a question, which was raised at least in the chat. And besides, if anybody else wants to sort of come up with a question, if you can sort of be prepared. But at the same time, I'll just pick up one of the question, which was sort of debated about, during the panel. The question is, can you please guide the revenue model when we engage lawyers pan-India and associate advocates with the firm, and how to stay connected with the team? So while there are two questions within, maybe if I can ask Avish, if you want to sort of take that first point up, or rather if you want to take the point on how to stay connected with the team. Avish?
Yes. Please come again.
So the question is, how do you sort of engage with the other teammates within the firm, and how to stay connected with the team for the associates and all the team members?
Oh, yes. See, if you have to grow your law firm, you need to utilize technology at its optimum. And now, yes, it's very amazing. I'll tell you, in our team, we do patent law as well. We do prior art searches, drafting of patent applications. And we do it for Indian clients, even for US. And we have a tie-up with the US IP law firm as well. Now, how do we manage? See, patent law, I'm just giving this an example. Patent law is very complex. You have specific areas and fields in which inventions are done. So we have our patent drafters who are expertise in chemical engineering, who are expertise in electronics patents drafting. And we have, for years, we have picked these drafters. And in the past 7-8 years, we have been working with these drafters, and they are scattered across the nation. So by using the technology, like Google Meets and collaborative screen shares and conference calls with even worldwide clients, we are able to pull it off. So utilizing technology within your team is very, very, very important.
Sure.
And what was your other?
Sorry, go ahead.
What was your other question as well? It was related.
So the other question was, I think the question which is raised is also, please guide the revenue model when we engage lawyers pan-India.
See, pan-India again, I don't think equity works out if you have in pan-India. If you're opening up an office or you're collaborating for an office, so probably pan-India equity model works. Again, it depends. Like for example, on these patent projects and all, a lot of times we just work on project basis, or we have a yearly contract that, we will send you patent applications on that particular area of invention. So it again, I believe it works on salaried or project-oriented fees.
Sure. Rajiv, do you want to take that on the revenue model? I mean, and let me just throw a spanner there. So if you are a firm with presence in cities like Mumbai, Delhi, Bangalore, Hyderabad and all, where scales within the cities are also very different, right? So how do you sort of work out a revenue model which works well across the board?
Sure, makes sense. And thanks for that. And I'm just trying to understand the question better here. So somebody asked, can you guide the revenue model when we engage lawyers pan-India and associate advocates? So I'll take the first part, when we engage lawyers pan-India. So just before I answer this question, I'll just give a quick background. This is interesting because at KSK, we have a network of almost about 10,000 lawyers across the country. This is an organic network that we've built from the time the firm was started, since 2004. So essentially, if some of our clients have matters, say in the remotest of places, like this court in Assam, or Tirunelveli in Tamil Nadu, or Jammu and Kashmir, or some remote corner of Himachal, Uttarakhand, places like that. We have a presence there in the sense that we have a network of local advocates who we engage them regularly for different kinds of matters, be it for real estate related diligence, physical due diligence at a sub-registrar office level, or say a representation in a small civil suit, or even a criminal matter in one of the courts in these areas. So we have a fee schedule of sorts that we use for these advocates for different kinds of matters, which of course has been evolving since the time that we've engaged these advocates. And I think it's really important that we pay them fair rates, because it's very easy to exploit the advocates who are in the smaller towns, and it's important for firms like us, when we give them work, to ensure that they're working with us, and they see the benefits of working with firms like us, because for us, we have repeated requests, repeated matters coming in these locations most of the times. So it's very important that we keep them motivated and keep them engaged. In fact, post the pandemic, initially we used to have once in 3 or 4 years, we used to have even sessions where we would have everyone from one region gather once in a while, and we throw some sort of a gala event for them. Post pandemic, we've even done virtual sessions where we're engaging with these advocates, trying to keep them motivated and compensated, not just in terms of what we pay them for these matters, but also generally keep them motivated and keep their spirits high. I think that, and also to answer your question with regard to the various scales within these cities, you're very right. The average expenses or the average fee that it would cost me, or it would cost an advocate or a law firm to handle a case in Mumbai would not be the same to handle a case in Chennai or in Bangalore or in Delhi, right? So I think there are two aspects to this. This has to be kept in mind when you're quoting a particular fee to your client, and also the compensation which you pay to your advocates or to your team members within these locations also has to be in line with that, and people have to be compensated accordingly when they're working in those cities. I think it's very important to have some sort of parity, because, and I think you would notice that, like for example, all of us know that lawyers and law firms in Mumbai get paid more than people in other cities because of the cost of living and so many other factors in Mumbai, right? So I think that way it's important for law firms and for employers in general to maintain parity and ensure that this is being adhered to when they're setting down these rates. So I think that's
Thank you.
On this.
Sure. So I think we have overshot the time. So maybe just Sumesh, before I come to you with the last question, I just wanted to have first question before you to Dhruti. Dhruti, given that you have more of a litigation experience and a focus, I just wanted to hear from you that on the point on revenue and engaging lawyers, right, or creating a team in a litigation focused law firm versus compared to a corporate law firm where also there may be litigation teams and therefore the revenue models which are there as a comparative. How do you see that playing out, and what is the best way to sort of incentivize folks within your team?
See, basically, when we see this litigation team, there's a special area somehow. See, basically, some people are practicing only in SEBI tribunal. They're expert there. And there are some people who are basically in high court in different areas of law. So you need to have outsourced resources which are jointly clubbed up with you. In that sense, a complicated matter comes, for example, instantly of a charity commissioner. Then you know that your firm will not be probably having that kind of expertise. You need to use the outsourced resources and accordingly quote out to the client, said, look, this is what the additional person will require who's an expert. The fees as a whole of a matter cannot be charged out. Now, if you see the corporate proceedings and the corporate NCLT proceedings or anything that add on you need from your due diligence, the same thing you need to have that additional resources. So it's more or less the same if you go to see. It's just that if you cannot completely give a full service to the client, you need additional resources who are inbuilt with you, connected in a couple of other matters. And there is this revenue intakes given out and out. And client must be aware that they are the expert people who will be working with you in your team. So whether you do corporate, you do litigation, you need additional resources added out in your firms. This is what I personally feel.
Sure. No, thank you. And I think so. I'll just open for a question to check if anybody else has a question. But Sumesh, just a quick one for you.
I had one question. Sorry to interject.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Which is very important because I want to understand how secure does a partner or managing partner feel in a law firm vis-a-vis feeling that their clients will not be solicited and their individual subordinates or associates will not start a new law firm taking out the whole client, because we've seen many law firms splitting up that way. It's like they make an inbuilt team and then they get the clientele outsourced out from this firm to start their own firm. So I know this is not ethical, but this is generally happening in a couple of firms where they're splitting.
Yeah, there are a lot of mushrooming of law firms which is happening.
Yeah.
Sumesh, you want to take that? I think so. You also touched upon this a little bit briefly about a lot of new law firms coming in, but in context of the question Dhruti has raised.
So, sorry, Dhruti, what is exactly your question? What are you looking for?
My question is, how secure do you feel in a law firm that your associates will not branch out with your clients by starting up a new law firm? So what is
Dhruti, see, it's a very relative question, right? Let me tell you how it works is typically a client, we are all lawyers, so it is all about interaction with the client. So again, it is a very natural phenomena if over a period of time, because as a law firm grows, no managing partner or a senior partner is able to service all his clients. If let's say a particular managing or a senior partner of a corporate practice or any ABC dispute resolution practice, anyone's handling 300, 400 clients, he's not in a position to handle his all the clients. So again, so it is more about as I say, how much interaction you have with your clients. If you are completely outsourcing your clients to your another partner and he's completely in charge of the clients and you have no interaction, so the likelihood of that partner probably somewhere down the line or that group of people, branching out and taking away the client becomes much higher. But where we've seen where, you have as a senior partner where you are more, you still, even you may not be, because obviously it is physically or practically impossible for one person to service all the clients, but still you have a pulse of a client, you still have some interaction with the client still knows you are, you're still part of the calls, you still have, he still has some interaction with you. So then there is a lesser likelihood where in case one of your team members are leaving, that they would take away the clients or the clients would. So it is more about the client comfort. So I think it is lesser about the person leaving the firm, it's more about the client comfort. If a client has no interaction with you being a rainmaker, you bring in a client and you've never spoken to a client, you've stopped interacting with him 5 years back, there is obviously a very, very high likelihood of the clients walking away with someone who leaves the firm. But on the other hand, if you have an interaction with a client, or the client's been still although you're not personally appearing in a litigation matter, you're not personally going to a court for that client, but the client still has a quick interaction on, something like once a month, if you're speaking to a client, how is the matter going and, what is the strategy you're adopting. So the client, if he knows the senior partner is making a strategy and the juniors or his team members are only in the execution phase, so there are lesser or less likelihood, which I feel and I have experienced, that the client, because client still wants someone to strategize for him. Execution part is easier. Strategy is something more different. Yeah.
So the confidence is something you need to hold. Basically, I just wanted to know on this part, that do you have a privity of contract with the employees in that sense that you cannot directly interact?
Yes, you have.
That would be very secure.
And in fact, there's been some, I would not like to name, but there's been one very interesting litigation. In fact, there's a lot of litigation between the law firms and it's still going on. Typically now, I think it's a very standard thing that if your associates or your lawyers leave, there is a non-solicit clause. They would not touch upon the client, but there has been we being lawyers, so there are very interesting litigation happening where now, so I'll give you an example where obviously you can't take away a direct client, but if you take away let's say a trade commission or which is not referring your client, but every time giving a new client. So those are debates and still, again, Delhi High Court has seized off a couple of matters and you can look upon a few judgments where this matter has been decided. But yes, now it's over the last few years become a more common practice where at least, unless you are an equity partner, there is a complete embargo on you taking away any clients of the firm. And that has been enforced. In fact, some firms have gone to a stage of even filing not only civil but criminal cases against their own ex-employees for taking away clients. That's been
Thank you. Thank you. So just, I think again, we're pretty much done beyond the time, but just wanted to check from audience if anybody wants to just pick up one question. Anybody who wants to speak up, you can unmute, and if anybody is there. Okay, seems like that will be it. Thank you everyone for joining in, and thank you everyone to all the panelists, my co-panelists, for sharing their valuable inputs. I hope this session was helpful for everyone. Of course, I think so what comes out is there are various ways to sort of operate law firms. What is good, what is not good, perhaps naturally is in relevance and circumstance for each and everybody. There are different models out there when it comes to structuring of your team, structuring the revenue model, the branding, the business, the HR element of it, or even revenue wise, right? So I'm sure we have more ways and we can do more and more sessions. And naturally, this is an endless topic where whatever time we allocate, we'll have a lot of wisdom from everybody by virtue of experiences. Thank you everyone again for sparing your time and joining in the session. And thank you to all my co-panelists. On behalf of Navneet, he had to move out, so thanking everyone on behalf of him as well.
Thanks, Samba. It was indeed a nice, very nice session. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, everyone.
Hey, thanks, everyone. Yeah.
Thank you all. See you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.